Hello again everyone, Mary Rose here at Stitch Bliss Corner. If you're here for the first time, welcome, and if you're coming back to visit me again, thank you very much for coming. I have finished today. I've got some updates and a few odds and ends as we go along. I would like to thank everyone who left comments about Ted DeGrazia, the last video that I did. He would probably be very pleased at the reception he's had from Flosstubers, and for those who knew of his work or had some of his work even, and were happy to talk about their experiences and how he's influenced their lives and everything. And I just had to mention something I missed last time, that when Ted did his sculptures, he tried plasticine and various other ways to make his works, and he found that beeswax was very good for his sculpting and everything, because he said he could use that and then he could leave it and still come back to it and continue working on it as the mood took him, probably when he came back from one of his long treks that he used to go on. So anyway, I shall now go on to, in no particular order, prattle on about the things that I'm doing. And I thought to begin with, I would show you, I mentioned the skating minister that I'm going to be starting, and Andrea of I Heart Cross Stitch said that she is going to start a new piece on the 1st of January, and I thought that that might be a good day for me to start the skating minister. So I think I will do that. And I'm going to show you, for people who haven't seen him, I'll show you a picture. This is a picture that my husband took from the original. It's a classic painting from Scotland of a minister skating on a lake, and that's the original painting there. And if you just look closely at his face, and because I said to Harlequin, is it possible for me to do him smaller? And he said, well, you can do that, but you're going to lose some of the detail. And so this is it. Had I done it A4 size, that's the sort of detail I would have had, and it's quite pixelated, as you can see the features there. And so we've decided on the 1/1 on 28 count, because I mean, basically there's just no comparison. Well, there is comparison. One looks pretty good and the other one doesn't look so good. That's quite pixelated, isn't it? I mean, it's still okay, but it's just not as good as that one. His rosy cheeks must have been pretty cold. So anyway, that is an explanation of why I am going for the 28 count 1/1. Now, the other thing I was going to show you was some of the palette for the skating minister there. Now, I suppose I could get some of them out. Just a minute. This isn't all of them, of course. They're lovely colours, aren't they? I mean, it's enough to make your mouth water, really. So that's some of them. It looks mostly background colours. And then I had an unexpected obstacle when it came to my gridding. And here's my gridding here. Oh, well, I'll just show you. I'll tell you first. Usually when I do gridding, I use ordinary sewing cotton. And I was happily doing that. And then I had a look after I'd done a few rows, and some of the stitches were slipping underneath the thread, so you couldn't see the gridding properly. And of course, for me, that was just disastrous. You know, I couldn't be having that. So then I tried the dreaded sulky. I shouldn't really call it dreaded, but this stuff is okay, but it curls up on itself a little bit. I mean, it's great for taking out once you've finished your piece. It's a piece of cake to remove it. And if I'm doing a smaller piece, I don't mind using sulky, although usually I just use my tried and true cotton. So anyway, that was to no avail either. So then I remembered that I had some thread that is made out of wool, and it's this. It came from a kit that my daughter had. It was like a little sewing machine that did, you know, a bit like punch needle. And I thought, well, I'll give that a go because it's thicker. And I'm very happy to say that that was a success. So here is, I'll just turn off the aircon now. Sorry about the aircon, it makes a noise, but it was getting a bit warm in here. So there's my gridding. And of course there's the centre. And I think I did say to you that I was going to start with his face, but I just don't know if I will start with his face. I mean, Harlequin thinks it's a good idea in case it doesn't work, but I think I trust his charting. I think it'll be okay. Now, it doesn't go as wide as this. I've put extra grids on either side because I do like to have extra grids. I thought the back was interesting. That almost looks like, I don't know, a piece of work in itself, doesn't it? Anyway, so there's my gridding all ready. So when I'm ready, it'll be ready, which is great. So that I've put together, and I really am looking forward to my start at the same time as dear Andrea, who has some pretty good ideas, I think. So that's my informal stitch along with her, although she's not doing the skating minister, she's doing something else. Now, what will I show you next? I think I will show you Wattle Cottage. You've seen this one if you've seen my videos before. And when I showed you this last time, Amber from Amber AZ, I mentioned that I was thinking of doing a poppy because it's November. I finished it in November, and of course it's 100 years since the First World War ended. And I thought at the time about the young, mostly men, who left their homes, like this little cottage. And never sought their home again. And Amber said that I should stitch the poppy because she's from a veteran family, and she's also is a veteran nurse. She was a nurse in the military, and I thought, well, she's quite right. Of course I should stitch the poppy. So I did, and I added, lest we forget there as well, at the going down of the sun and in the morning we shall remember them, lest we forget. And there's a dear little poppy just there. I mean, some of those, well, quite a few of them had never even had a girlfriend, you know. And whatever country you came from, whether it be one side or the other side, they were still family men, they were still young men that had their lives ahead of them, and you know, they made their sacrifice for their country. Now, a little change of pace here. I'm going to show you my finish. X's and O's. Now, I've put a few leaves in other spots, and the little pom-pom here, I put some straight stitches to make it look more like a little pom-pom. Now, the needlework design is by Joe Gattenby, and the artwork is Catherine Simpson. And I'm indebted to both of them for creating this piece, which I really think is lovely. And it gives a great sense of the freedom that a child, and only a child, can feel before the burdens of life descend upon them, shall we say. So, here is my finished piece. Now, if you look closely, you can see the little lines I've put in there. That's if you can see anything. See, I've got my window open there. Well, not open, but the blinds open to let some light in. And of course, it's Reflection City. But anyway, and there was a bit of a gap here, so I put a leaf in there. How do you like to go up in a swing? Sorry, up in the air so blue. Oh, I do think it the pleasantest thing ever a child can do. And my husband said you must put his name at the bottom. Well, not my husband's name, but the name of the poet, which of course did finish the piece nicely. All those leaves. And I wouldn't say this was the easiest chart to do. It's a challenge, I'd say. I mean, I enjoyed every minute of it, but it's just to let people know it looks easy. I think it looks very easy, but it's not so easy. So I just thought I would let you know that. There's that one finished. Pop it in the box there. Now, I saw Kelly Bell this morning. She's come back from Arizona. She had to go there for family reasons, and she was away for about 6 weeks. And fortunately for all of us, she took a few of her pieces with her, and one of them was Dragons of Sumatra, which she has finished. And I just think it's wonderful. It's just fabulous. Kelly Bell, you have outdone yourself. I was looking at it and my math was... And of course, I had to watch well into her video to see it, which I have to. I enjoyed watching her video. I always enjoy her videos anyway. But it was tantalizing waiting to see it. And it certainly wasn't a disappointment. It's just fabulous. And I'm just so happy for you that you've finished it, Kelly. And it's just going to look so wonderful in a frame when you choose your frame. The fabric is perfect. Her colour choices are perfect. She's put beads on there. And I mean, I'm not a fan of beads, but her beads look really good. They look like they should be there. So congratulations to you, Kelly. Now, I am going to show you from the sublime to the ridiculous. I'm going to show you mine now. Now, my dragons is completely different to Kelly's. And we were having, because Kelly's my stitching cousin, and we were having an informal stitch along with dragons. But as I said to Kelly Bell, it's not a stitch along if the other person has finished her work and left the building. So I'm getting there. So, but I do have an exquisite problem. So here is Dragons of Sumatra, so that people can see what it looks like from the designer's point of view, I guess. A serving suggestion, shall we say, of what they thought you might like to do it in, you know, variegated. And mine, that's mine. Now, last time you saw it, I was coming along here. I'd done all this, and I just come to about here. So I'm working along, or did work along, and I decided to make that dragon a golden dragon. Now, I don't know that the glitter will show. It's not even showing to my eye here. But anyway, it is glittering, so it's a golden dragon. And then I did this panel here, which looked to me, for all the world, like a William Morris. I don't know how that happened. But now, of course, I'm going to have to work out what to do about this border around here. Because somehow I've got to try and drag all this together to make it at least harmonise a little bit. And I'm going towards the idea of a red border, because red, some people consider red to be a neutral. I mean, Harlequin did suggest silver, and I said to him, well, the thing with silver, I said, you probably have to do grey first and then put silver thread over the top. And I just couldn't see it being silver or grey. So I'm thinking red. And then we will go from there. And it will be solid red. I won't do anything else. Just the whole border will be, you know, solid red. So that's my thinking on dragons. Because I'm doing it for me, I'm not too concerned about how outrageous and how many colours there are. I mean, it is a limited palette really, because it's the colours of the rainbow. So it's not like I've put anything on there. There is a kind of a rhythm there. And it's sort of working to me. But I'll just have to wait until the whole thing's done to see if it works or if I need to do anything else. But that border there was a complete surprise to me how that came out, because I don't know, it just sort of, yeah. I mean, I really like it, but where it came from is anybody's guess. Maybe Ted had something to say about it. Ted DeGrazia, who knows? Yeah. So anyway, there is dragons and where it's up to. Now, was there anything else I had to say to you? Now, oh yes, now my Stitchy studio, it's pretty well, I've got everything up there. Well, not quite everything now that I'm looking around this room. But anyway, there will be a video on my Stitchy room. I just have to, I tried to do a video in there the other day and the lighting was terrible. I mean, it's all right for stitching, but for videos, it just doesn't seem to be very happy with videos at the moment. So I'll probably be doing them down here for a while. But I'm hoping to get it at least sorted enough just to show you what it looks like, just to satisfy the curious. Because I'd want to know, if someone was rattling on about their Stitchy studio and how they're putting shelves up and they're doing this and doing that, I'd like to know what it looked like. So that's only natural, isn't it? So, and it won't be tidy. I know, like all the Stitchy, well, on the internet, it seems like everywhere you go, it's as neat as a new pin. I mean, they say the Queen thinks the world smells like wet paint because everywhere she goes there's somebody painting something to make it look good for her. But I mean the ancient Greeks, apparently they had very few possessions because they said the more possessions you had, the less free you were. And that sounds pretty wise to me, because it's so easy to gather clutter, isn't it? I mean, it's like when you find a sock. Really, you really should buy all your socks the same color, because then if you lose one, you've still got a pair to it, haven't you? Because it's all those socks you keep, and the earrings. You always keep your earring when you've lost the other one, because the day you throw that one out, the other one will turn up. It's just things like that. So my Stitchy studio will not be neat as a new pin, that's for sure. It'll just be probably still piles, but they'll be piled in places where I know where they are for once, instead of piled everywhere else. That has been good, because I've been down here doing something and thinking, oh, where's such and such? And for once, I can pretty much go to the general area where it might be, rather than this sea of where do I start, I mean, I usually ask the angels if I can't find something, and because they're always there. They're there to help you. I mean, there are millions of them waiting for you to ask them for something, according to certain sources anyway. So if you do lose something or something like that, you just ask the angels, and quite often you'll find it in completely the place you had never thought it would be. That's what I've found anyway. So, right, well, I think that's all now. I'm going to put the air conditioner back on because it's starting to warm up. When it rains and then the sun comes out and it starts to steam. Great for the bamboo, that's for sure. Right, well, I think that's all I am going to tell you this time. Next time I will update you. I think I'll have another go at dragons. I was going to give it a little rest, but Kelly Bell has spurred me on now. Now I've seen her magnificent piece this morning. So I think I'll get cracking with that red border and see how it looks. And then I will be coming back probably in, I don't know, a week or so, just to update you on what happened there with the dragons, because it'd be sort of good to get dragons done, and then I can turn back to Heaven on Earth, Harlequin, and the Robert Frost piece, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, which I really do want to get back to those three. I'm waffling now, aren't I? Anyway, all you lovely, lovely people that come to see me, Thank you very much for doing that. Um, thank you for your warm wishes. And right back at you. Right back at you, all the wonderful things you say. Um, I really do appreciate your company. And I look forward to seeing you again next time here at Stitch Bliss Corner. So it's goodbye from Mary Rose. Bye for now.